Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia, the center of the world. The sun is out, still a little cold, and Christmas is over. Thanksgiving is over. Only one more to go. Only one more holiday to go. Anyway, the title of today's talk is Laurel and Hardy Revisited. Laurel and Hardy. I have always loved Laurel and Hardy movies because, when I grew up before TV, and then there's another Laurel and Hardy movies. They were back in the silent movies. They were back in the silent age, and they made a ton of movies, and I think my whole life has been paralleled by Laurel and Hardy movies. And recently with TikTok, I love TikTok, because I get to see clips of movies and war clips, and I don't get into the chit-chat stuff, but I like, the clips of the past and TV shows, and it's just like TikTok's just like sipping tea with a spoon. Just one spoon at a time. You don't gulp the whole thing. You just take a sip. No, this is a different cup. Oh, and this is a different sip. So you just go through sips of clips. And so anyway, I love the whole Laurel and Hardy clips. Now, what is Laurel and Hardy about? Really, Hardy has good intentions. Hardy wants to be somebody. Hardy wants to be respected. He wants to arrive. He wants to be in the middle class. He wants to be respected. He's a Rodney Dangerfield, and Laurel is his shadow. They're like buddy, but it's a love-hate relationship. Hardy's really sadistic towards Laurel. Laurel just takes it, but he sometimes fights back. So Laurel is the passive-aggressive. Laurel will sabotage Hardy's grand intentions with Laurel has good intentions. So you have a two trains passing on the same track. Hardy has good intentions. Laurel has good intentions. But everything they do is a disaster. And it's always escalating, And either they're sabotaging themselves, or they're trying to sabotage somebody else, and it just escalates. And it always escalates to total disaster. I'm always amused at particularly in the silent movie, the skits where the tit for tat skit, where you insult somebody and then you stand there and watch them as they tear a fender off your car, and then you go, well, I'm going to do one better than that. So you go and tear something off of their car, and they stand there and watch. And then they go, I can do better than that. And then they go into, until finally everything is destroyed. Everything is destroyed. So Laurel and Hardy basically are really a pantomime, or really a metaphor of our own mind. We all have good intentions. And when you have good intentions, I'm a good person, I'm a good Christian, I'm a good yogi or Buddhist, I have good intentions. Well, notice it always ends up like Laurel and Hardy. Good intentions bring with them their opposite, bad intentions. In other words, good cannot be separated from bad. Life is ambiguous. Life is good, bad. It's not good or bad. It's not this or that. Life is this, that. Life is a whole. But our mind, our logical, serious mind, can't contain the ambiguity. We keep trying to separate it. We keep trying to separate the good from the bad. So if you watch your mind, it's always complaining. It's always saying, well, I don't like that, or it could be better, or I remember when it was better, I remember when somebody else did it, I remember that restaurant, that's food, this food sucks. Comparing, complaining. So our mind tries to be hardy, but life is Laurel. Our mind tries to be good, but the other half of the moon, the other side of the moon, always comes forward. So there's a shifting of foreground, background going on all the time, and we can't catch it because all we can see and be conscious of is the foreground. But the foreground doesn't exist without the background. The positive doesn't exist without the opposite. The light doesn't exist without the dark, you see. They go together like Laurel and Hardy. So Hardy is always trying to become light. And Laurel, with good intentions, always makes Hardy dark. So Laurel restores wholeness. Laurel restores life. And what's restored but hilarious laughter? Laurel and Hardy make life whole with laughter because they reveal the absurdity of life. They reveal the impossibility of trying to be good. Or some people will go, well, I can't be good, so I'm going to be bad. I'm going to break bad, you see. If I can't be good, I'm going to be bad. I'm going to be the baddest bad, you see. So either we're going to be good or bad. The son is either going to be a good son or a bad son. If there are two sons, one will usually be good and one will be bad. Just like in the royal family. So William is the good son and Harry's the bad son. Anyway, they're Laurel and Hardy. So I watch Laurel and Hardy on TikTok as if I'm watching a parable of life. If I'm reading the Bible of life, in other words, you just end up, you see it for 1,000 times and still you laugh as if you've seen it for the first time. So I've been watching Laurel and Hardy all my life and I still laugh at it, even though I've seen it 1,000 times. Why is that? Why is that? Usually if you've seen something once, you don't laugh at it again. I've seen it. It's not funny. Laurel and Hardy, funny. You're always seeing them for the first time. Why is that? Because they're revealing a truth that is eternal. They're revealing a truth about us, about me, that is universal. They reveal the universal in the particular, in their act, you see. And, so the universal truth always contains the opposites. See, truth is whole. Truth is absolute. People are saying, oh, I want the absolute. They think they've got the absolute truth, but that's just being hardy. When you think you've got the absolute truth, you're just being hardy, and Laurel's going to come along and screw you up. So the absolute truth is beyond Laurel and Hardy. The absolute truth, the whole truth, the full truth, nothing but the truth that has no second, is upstream of Laurel and Hardy. So where is upstream? What is beyond Laurel and Hardy? You. You are the viewer. You are the seer of Laurel and Hardy. So Laurel and Hardy are kind of like a reflection of you, who is both Laurel and Hardy. You are whole. You're not good or bad. You're not up or down, although we feel that all the time. Oh, I'm up today. Oh, I'm down today. I'm happy today. Now I'm sad. I'm up, I'm down. I'm down, I'm up. You see, back and forth. Laurel and Hardy, back and forth. But who isn't up and down? Take a teeter-totter at the playground. You see the teeter-totter, one end's Laurel, one end's Hardy. Up, down, up, down. But you're sitting on the park bench. But at the same time, you're on the teeter-totter. So laughter, the laughter of Laurel and Hardy is when you see through and through that you are Laurel and Hardy, but you're not Hardy. The seeing that you are Laurel and Hardy is you sitting on the park bench watching yourself on the teeter-totter. So when you see, when the revelation or the awakening of Laurel and Hardy, or the kensho, or the aha of Laurel and Hardy is when you see that that I am Laurel and Hardy. When I see that I am Laurel and Hardy, I am both Laurel and Hardy and not Laurel and Hardy, and that is funny. I am both free and not free at the same time, you see? And that's life. We're both free and not free at the same time. Can't separate them. You can't separate freedom from not free. They go together like Laurel and Hardy, like Fred and Ginger, you see? But we try to separate them. We try to separate the whole, we try to separate the truth into good and bad, up or down, laughter and sadness. We try to get one, we get the other. Everything turns into its own opposite. Everything turns into its own opposite. So that's the great truth of Laurel and Hardy. Laughter. When you see the truth, you fall on the floor laughing. It's such a great joke. And no matter how many times you see it, you still laugh. Because it's still true. It's still true. Thanks for dropping in.